Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are breaking down the essential blueprint for building a successful, modern business. We're not just talking about having a great idea. We're going to get into the actual foundation, the structure that holds up companies that are truly built to last.
All right, let's just dive right in. This is the question, isn't it? It's what every entrepreneur, every business leader is trying to figure out. And honestly, the answer might surprise you. It's not always about having the most mind-blowing product or the biggest ad budget. It's actually about a core philosophy, a way of thinking that puts one thing at the very center of your universe.
And this is it, the big idea, the marketing concept. This whole philosophy just flips the old, if you build it, they will come idea right on its head. Instead, it says, whoa, hold on, stop. First, listen to your customers. Analyze their needs. You have to understand their world, their problems, what they actually want. Then you can start making decisions about what you're going to build and how you're going to sell it. See? Everything else we're going to talk about is built on this one simple but really powerful idea.
Okay, so if the customer is our foundation, then the very first pillar we have to build is figuring out exactly who that customer is. I mean, you can't build something for just an anonymous crowd, right?
You know, this is where so many businesses stumble. They try to appeal to absolutely everyone. And what happens? They end up not really appealing to anyone. The market is just too crowded for that. The companies that really thrive are the ones with a laser focus. They know their people. And to get that kind of clarity, you need a smart, strategic process. So what's that process look like? Well, it's a three-step model, often called STP. First up is segmentation. You take that huge, messy market and you slice it into smaller, more manageable groups. Then comes targeting. You look at those different groups and you decide, okay, which one or maybe two are we perfectly suited to serve? And finally, there's positioning. This is where you craft your entire marketing plan, your message, everything, to speak directly to that group you just chose. All right, let's move on to our next pillar. Once you know who you're talking to, the next obvious question is, well, what are you going to sell them? And how are you going to present it? The toolkit for this job has a name. It's called the marketing mix. And let me tell you, it's a classic for a reason. Think of it as a set of levers you can pull and dials you can turn to create an offer that your target customer is just going to love. You might know it by its famous nickname, the 4 Ps. So what are these 4 magic levers? First, you've got your product. You know, its features, the quality, the packaging. Then there's price. What are the price points? What about discounts? After that comes place. How are you actually going to get the product to your customers? And finally, promotion. How are you going to tell people about it? Every single one of these is a huge strategic decision. Now, here's a really crucial insight. Your strategy can't just be set in stone. The decisions you make about those 4 Ps, especially for your product, have to change over time. Why? Because, believe it or not, every product has a life of its own. It's called the product life cycle. So a product is born, right? That's the introduction. Then it hits this amazing growth spurt where sales just take off. Eventually, it reaches maturity where sales kind of level off and competition gets really fierce. And finally, it enters a decline. Your marketing and sales strategy has to adapt to each one of these stages to keep your product as successful as possible for as long as possible. And when we talk about price, wow, it is so much more than just putting a number on a tag. It's this whole web of strategic choices. You have to think about discount policies, what your competitors are charging, and maybe most importantly, what's the perceived value? What is this product or service really worth in the mind of your customer? And place, well, that's not just about a physical store. It's your entire distribution plan. How does your product get from you to your customer? Are you going to sell directly or go through retailers? Are you going to be everywhere, like a can of Coke? Or are you going to be exclusive, like a Rolex watch, only available in a few select places? Each choice you make here completely changes your business. Okay, so this brings up a really important question. Does this whole blueprint change if your customer isn't just one person, but an entire company? And the answer is, oh yeah, a resounding yes. The foundation is the same, but the architecture looks totally different. So let's put these two worlds side by side. B2C, that's business to consumer, and B2B, which is business to business. We're still going to use our 4 Ps as a guide, but how we actually use those tools has to adapt in a pretty major way.
Let's just take promotion, for example. In the B2C world, a lot of the time you're trying to connect on an emotional level, right? You're trying to create a feeling or a desire. But in B2B, the buyer is all about pure logic. They're asking, How does this save my company time? How will it save us money? What's the ROI? The whole conversation is about efficiency. And their approach to price and how they create value is worlds apart too. A B2B company often adds value by customizing a solution to fix a very specific, unique business problem. But a B2C company, they might create value through the customer experience itself, making the whole process memorable with great design or entertainment. And that leads us right to place, which is really the sales journey. The B2B sales cycle is often super long, it's complex, it involves a bunch of different decision makers, distribution is very selective. On the flip side, B2C is usually about a much shorter, more direct path to buying something, often through tons of retail stores. So, we've got our customer-first foundation and our strategic pillars in place. But look, a building is only strong if the whole crew is working from the exact same set of plans. And that brings us to our final and maybe most critical step. And this is just absolutely crucial. You can come up with the most brilliant marketing strategy in the world, but if your sales team doesn't know about it or doesn't know how to execute it, then it's just a piece of paper sitting in a folder somewhere. These two teams can't be in their own little worlds. They have to be partners. Now, this unified approach actually has a name. It's called Integrated Marketing Communications, or IMC. And the official definition here really just nails it. The goal is to combine all your communication tools, your ads, your sales team, your PR, so they all work together to deliver clarity, consistency, and the biggest possible impact. So why is this such a big deal? Because think about it. Today, a customer interacts with your company in dozens of different ways. They see an ad on social media, they talk to a salesperson, they visit your website. IMC makes sure that no matter where or how they connect with you, they're getting the same clear, consistent story about who you are and what you're all about. And when you get this right, man, something really powerful happens. Sales and marketing stop being these separate departments. They start acting like a single engine, totally focused on one goal, making customers happy. They become master builders, working from that same customer-first blueprint, creating something strong, something that's really built to last. So that really leaves us with this one final thought. It seems like a simple question, but the difference between the two answers is, well, it's everything. Are you just pushing a product out into the market, or are you genuinely building solutions for the people you say you want to serve? Answering that question honestly is the first and most important step in building a business that can truly stand the test of time.